What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Now, you probably think that I'm the star of this channel, and that's where you're wrong, because the real star is the Pavoni Europiccola. So if you're not familiar with the Pavoni, it is a lever actuated machine. They are a beautiful machine. They've been around for a very long time, and you can make incredible coffee on them. And today we're going to make that even easier by adding this into the mix. So what we're adding is the coffee sensor pressure profiling kit, which is going to make it a lot easier to replicate coffees one after another, because you can see exactly how much pressure you're actually making when you're pulling the lever. Therefore, you can repeat the same coffee over and over again. So that's enough of me talking. I'll turn the camera around so you don't have to stare at my head and get stuck into it. So believe it or not, this is actually a fairly simple upgrade you can do to your machine. Let's get stuck into it. Let's start disassembling things. We will keep this aside because we need this part later. However, this is being removed and we will not use it again. So, first up, grab a 14mm spanner, crack that one, pop these aside, don't lose them, pull your little circlips off. You can lose these because we're not going to use them again, but don't. See ya. Don't lose that. Although I think the new one comes with one anyway. Pop your portafilter out. Clearly I don't use this machine enough. Definitely not as much as I'd like to. Pull your group head seal out. If you don't know how to do this, probably don't work on machines. We do have a replacement because you just don't put an old seal back in. That's gross. A nice seal. So this was rebuilt not too long ago, as you guys may have seen, because this thing is quite old and it was pretty bad. All right, so the machine is disassembled as far as it needs to go for this mod. Now what you do is you grab this shaft, make sure that those little holes are up the top when we do this part, and we're going to put some thread tape on the bottom. So be generous and make sure that this gets a nice seal, because if it doesn't, it's not going to work. Now you can use a couple of different ways here. If you assemble it like so, you can use that for leverage and make sure that's on there nice and tight. So you do need to make sure that that shaft bottoms out onto the piston. Make sure you use some good food grade assembly lube and be generous. Don't be shy with it. You want that to be nice and smooth with as little friction as possible. And the kit does come with a little installation tool that makes this much easier. So if you just sort of pop that in there, slide the shaft up, and this is a little guidance tool, which is going to make things a lot easier. Just like that. Now if you're getting pressure wanting to push the piston back down, just crack the boiler a little bit and it will allow the piston to go all the way up, like so. Now we assemble the seal onto the shower screen, making sure that the flat surface is down. Then pop it onto your portafilter. Give it a few goes and just sort of help it find its way in there. Lubricate this little guy here. Number one, it's going to help for rattles. Secondly, it's going to hold it in place for you because it can be a little bit fiddly. Pull this guy apart. Now, as I've mentioned in previous videos, this does have a direction, so you need to make sure that the threaded section is down the bottom, not up the top. Now, you don't have to tighten any of this yet, just loosely set it up so that we can start to assemble things. And grab your lock nut. So just get the thread onto the lock nut. You don't have to push it all the way down yet, but just push the lever and put your hand under the shower screen and you'll feel that bottom out. You'll feel it touch. What you want to do is wind that down, and this is where you can decide for yourself. I have spoken about this on previous videos, but for every 90 degrees you turn this nut, it gives you 0.5 mm of clearance to the shower screen. So I'm going to just do that of 90 degrees. So turn the spanner 90 degrees, and that gives you 0.5 millimeter. But then what I like to do is just go to the next level where that it is in line with the side of the group head, so that you can run that spanner all the way across. Now, once you're at this position, we need to add some more thread tape so that we get a good seal. So pop that on top there. Grab your lock nut that came with the kit, slide that on, and then lock everything into place. Now we are ready to install the gauge. We need to pop a little bit of thread tape onto this as well, because of course we don't want any leaks. And then the kit does come with this little spanner here that's going to help you, because it needs a quite narrow spot. Now sometimes you may need to readjust your piston height just so that you can use everything as a lock nut. All machines are slightly different, so just use whatever works best for you, making sure the gauge is nice and straight for yourself and that the piston isn't bottoming out onto the shower screen. Then we can install the new lever onto the machine. And now if everything is lubricated properly, your machine should do this. Give your machine a nice clean, as it's going to be a little bit grubby from all of that assembly lube. Pop some water in it and turn the machine on. While the machine is warming up, we can tighten these things properly. So as you can see, it's quite simple. Let me know what you thought of this, guys. Thanks so much for watching. Have yourselves a great day and happy brewing.